Call halal, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ruach HaKodesh. Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. Risk of nuclear arms use highest in decades, watchdog. That watchdog being the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. So it says here, this is from RT News, global stockpiles are expected to begin growing again as countries expand and modernize their arsenals. Now, why would they be doing that? Because we are going to nuclear war. It says here the risk of nuclear weapons being used is higher than at any time since the height of the Cold War. The Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, a leading weapons watchdog, has warned. The shrinking global stockpile of nuclear weapons is now expected to begin growing once again, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute Yearbook 2022. While greatly reducing their stockpiles after the end of the Cold War, the United States and Russia combined still possess over 90% of the world's nuclear warheads, according to the report. Why would that be? Because they're going to be using them. We know that the United States, Babylon the Great, and Russia, they are going to war with one another. Well, of course, you're going to have China and other heathen countries, but it's Esau versus Esau. All right, a nation divided shall not stand. All right, they're not just keeping them there just because they're shiny. All right, it's not like they're hanging a deer head in the cabin just to look at it. Yep, back in 38, my grandpappy done shot him a goddamn moose. Been in the family cabin ever since. It's not like that. All right, it's not like the gold that they stockpile in vaults. All right, which we know is prophecy because it's for us, the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Haitians, West Indies, and Israelite foreigners, those that may look like the heathen nations, but have the spirit of an Israelite, the spirit that goes back to the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because we have the spirit, we come from a lineage of kings and priests. It's on our spirit to be able to know what to do with luxurious items such as gold. But it's not in an Edomite spirit to know what to do with luxurious items such as gold because they're not a royal people. They're the base of the world. So it says here, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute's estimates, Russia has around 5,977 warheads, and the United States has around 5,428. All right, and we know that this is an underreport, but it goes to show you how much weapons, to give you a picture that they have. And we know that one warhead can wipe out a continent. And of course, the nuclear fallout would destroy the ecosystem, et cetera, et cetera. So to have this many, and which we know is an underreport, we know that it's all lines up with biblical prophecy. All right. Overall, the number of nuclear warheads in the world continues to decline, but this is primarily due to Russia and the USA dismantling retired warheads. And we know that they're gunsmiths. A gunsmith doesn't just throw away a weapon. They repurpose it and use it to, for other weapons, or perhaps they'll refurbish it. No different than a warhead. And notice how they use the wording retired, right? You don't retire a warhead. It can go off at any time. So it says here, the yearbook reads, that's not really important. It says here, at the same time, both Russia and the USA have extensive and expensive programs. All right, extensive meaning vast. So they have motherfuckers that study like the circumference and volume of the nuke and the intricacies, and you have the ones that craft the outer shell, and it's all compartmentalized, you know? They showed you this when they did the research for rockets, right? When in the so-called race to the moon, right? They had several companies working on several different components of the rocket, but they didn't know about each other. All right, expensive, right? We know that they can just print money, so it's just really about power and control. But you know, in a carnal sense, of course, they're probably putting trillions of dollars into this, maybe even more, numbers we haven't even heard of, right? Underway to replace and modernize. Why would they need to modernize their weapons? If we know that one nuke can wipe out a continent, and maybe even more, like what type of enemy would you need a nuke for? It would have to be an enemy that would be impervious to bullets. It'd have to be, i.e., an angelic form, an angelic body, right? And we know that Lord wills, if we're the elect, we're going to be getting those angelic bodies, and Lord wills, we'll be able to partake while Yahweh Shai is slaughtering the beast system, man, with the archangels and the chariots shooting laser beams, pew, pew, you know what I'm saying? And pandemonium and the 2/3 getting destroyed, and the heathen nations bowing down to us and bowing down to Yahweh Shai ultimately, right? Ultimately, Yahweh will Yahweh Shai, right? Because if you've seen the Son, you've seen the Father, right? So to modernize their nuclear warheads, missile and aircraft delivery systems, and nuclear weapon production facilities. Why would they need to ramp that up? I mean, they showed you this in World War II. Like, they only would ramp things up. There would only be like production booms. Why? Because it's wartime. You know what I'm saying? But this war is like, there is so much deception wrapped up in this certain war that like the only ones that see this coming are the elect. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny because this is right in front of your face. Like, anyone can look this up and be like, oh shit, why would these two countries have so much nukes? You know, and you know what I'm saying? It's right here. But, you know, they have a saying in the world, the best place to hide something is in plain sight. All right, so, oh, here we go. So there's a quote that says, nuclear war cannot be won. Actually, here it says here, I'm going to read from here. The risk of actual use of nuclear weapons is growing as well, and appears to be higher than ever since the end of the Cold War. The Stockholm International Peace Research Institute researchers believe, while the nuclear-armed permanent members, P5, of the UN Security Council, China, France, Russia, the UK, and United States, managed to adopt a joint statement, joined in hand, early this year, affirming that a nuclear war cannot be won and never be fought, which, you know, we know everything is spiritual, but so a nuclear war cannot be won. It can't be. Now I'm going from a spiritual sense. Like, you can come at an angel with a nuke, but it's not gonna work. Let alone a company of angels. Let alone the general of those company of angels, Yahweh Shai Mashiach. Right, and then you're gonna have the archangels, right, Michael, Allah, right, etc. So, and must never be fought. Right, essentially, they can never win, but in their pride, it's going to be put into them to still want to fight anyways, despite all the slaughter they're going to see just one angel do. You know what I'm saying? Let alone a company of angels. All these countries continue to expand or modernize their nuclear arsenals. Why? Because they're going to be involved. All right, as well as appear to be increasing the salience of nuclear weapons in their military strategies. Why would they be doing that? You know, nobody does nothing for nothing. We know that everything is done for a reason. Ecclesiastes 3:1, Malak Shalom, he said, to time and purpose under to everything under the heaven, there's a time and purpose, roughly paraphrasing. All right, so let's get the script. So this is Mark chapter 1, verse 15. This is Yahweh Shai speaking, Malak Yahweh Shai speaking, the everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace, our eternal high priest, and beyond, our deliverer. It says, and saying, the time is fulfilled, and the kingdom of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai is at hand. Repent ye and believe the gospel. All right, so, I mean, are we living in the kingdom of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai right now? We know we're not. All right, but are we close? Yes. So what's the best course of action an Israelite can conduct? Is repent. Ultimately, repenting is just you put Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai number one. Yahweh Shai number one. And you acknowledge that you are not in control. All right? We know our righteousness is filthy rags. All right? But we also know that's no excuse to just sin willy-nilly. You know what I'm saying? Grace should be used. Essentially, you should look at grace as almost like a last resort kind of thing, like a safety net, if you would. You know what I mean? Like, it's the Shabbat, and you know it's the Shabbat, but fuck, you gotta work. And yeah, you'd love to call in sick, but you've already called in sick 4 days in a row. You know what I'm saying? I'm just using an extreme example, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so you go to work, but the Lord sees that you really didn't want to, like, you actually truly want, like, the Lord sees your intent, in other words. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you truly in your heart are like, you know what, man, like, fuck, man, like, I've been sinning, I've been fucking up, but, like, there's something odd, like, I can't do this no more. Like, you know what, man, I'm going to do the best I can with what you got, man. The Lord sees and hears everything. So it says here, and the kingdom of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, power is at hand. Repent ye, all right, and believe the gospel, the good news. And part of the good news, you know, that we're Israelites, we're not a byword. Our enemy Esau is going down. We're going to be delivered. We have a power that actually loves us, a true power. You know, we have a land. We you know, we have part of the also the gospel, the good news is nuclear war is about to go down, which lines up with biblical prophecy. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to punch out with Isaiah chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, right? His indignation, his righteous anger, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai plead with all flesh. And the slain of the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai shall be many. Because we know Yahweh Shai is going to have the highest body count. But who gave the order for Yahweh Shai to do it? Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, the first great one was water, right, with the flood. The second time around is going to be fire, you know, the ultimate cleansing agent. All right, so with that, I hope you all were edified. Shalom.